But Bombsite does.
He does.
That piece of shit's still alive.
Honestly, I expected a lot more action from the final season of The Boys than what I've seen in the last couple episodes. You cannot convince me the show creators aren't stalling, because even though there have been a few crucial moments, the story has moved at a snail's pace. The recently released 5th episode came with a lot of promise, but I can't say I'm overwhelmed after watching the one-shot storytelling of some of the key characters. So basically, we have Homelander further his agenda of promoting himself as the new god, and that has consequences. There are those who don't like this idea, but being vocal about this doesn't lead to the best results. The boys are hardly in action, and they don't have much to do in this episode anyway. Overall, I'm wondering how much ground the show has to cover in the final 3 episodes of this season. In this video, I'll try to predict what lies ahead, because I'm sure that this snooze fest will end from the next episode. There might be some major spoilers along the way, so you've been warned. Homelander's nationwide crackdown gets worse. Well, it's no secret that the leader of the Seven has completely lost his mind at this point, and now we see his narcissistic obsession reach new heights. He wants to be the new god so desperately that he's allowed an alternative church to be set up. To make it worse, he's allowed the activities of Supes to damage the reputation of the conventional churches, even at the cost of physical damage. His accomplice in this, O Father and Firecracker, lay out new avenues to further his propaganda. And while Firecracker has her own reservations, she's too much of a coward to take a step back. Things don't end well for her, and it's one of the major deaths in an episode that has quite a few, when she's killed by Homelander, who finds out about her doubts about his godly nature. Now, I think this is only the tip of the iceberg, and the next episode will see things going berserk from here. Let's not forget the comic book narrative where Homelander tries to take over everything, and yes, that actually might have been Black Noir. But here, you'll see Homelander in action. He might even attempt to take over the White House and decide everything for the nation. That has to be the beginning of the end. So expect a lot more deaths, mass killings, and radical changes in governance in the next episode. Sister Sage and Ashley might up their game. For me, this was the most important part of the entire episode. Sister Sage and Ashley have a meeting, and she basically forces him to make the decision of bringing all the Supes serving abroad back to America. Back Ashley's sentient face at the back of her head, has some wise words, and she's in agreement with Sister Sage, even though what the latter proposes is all-out chaos and a high-risk endeavor. The big revelation comes when Sage reveals that she's done everything in her power to prevent Homelander from getting the V1, and I have a feeling that Bombsite, who apparently has the V1, is working with her on her orders. Sage then reveals her bigger plan, which is a massive conspiracy where she wants the soup-killing virus to spread, and she wants humans to be blamed for. This will lead to World War Soup, and Sage intends to survive the war by hiding out in a safe bunker in Colorado. She promises to take Ashley along, and given all that Ashley's been through, she doesn't despise the idea even though she is wary of the risks. The way I see it, Sister Sage's plans might unfold in various ways in the next episode. She might attempt to reach out to the boys and help them out in coming up with the virus. She might also conspire with Ashley to undermine some of the things that Homelander might try to pull off. Of course, we must also expect things to go horribly wrong for her, because if Homelander gets a whiff of her idea, she will have the worst death imaginable. Ashley might be smart enough not to be tied to her directly, and I don't know why, that I have a feeling Ashley will survive the endgame. Such characters tend to make it out alive. Soulja Boy might be playing the bigger game. It is one thing to win the trust of Homelander, and quite another to be admired and mildly feared by him. Soulja Boy has managed both, by endangering Homelander in the earlier episode and saving his life in this one. But why is he doing so? I find it hard to believe that he has had a change of heart and now has fatherly affection towards the Twisted Suit, and that means that he has something bigger in mind. He actively wants the V1, but what if he just wants to ensure that it stays away from Homelander's reach? This will make Homelander immortal and ageless, and that stands in the way of Soulja Boy's aspirations to be the leader of the Seven. I think the next episode will show us about his real intention, and I'm quite sure that he does not intend to save Homelander or play father to him. Also, I'm intrigued to see how he reacts when he finds out about the death of Firecracker. Sure, he did rat her out, but he probably didn't expect Homelander to kill her so brutally. You might see in the next episode that the death triggers a newfound awareness in Soulja Boy, and he realizes that Homelander doesn't have a shred of stability in him. More of Stan Edgar, Zoe Newman, and Ryan. We've only seen Stan Edgar briefly as he was interrogated by Homelander and Soulja Boy. He remained calm and fearless as ever, but the fact that Soulja Boy's tracked down Zoe Newman seemed to bother him. He told them about a lead to finding the V1, and I can foresee that he has a bigger role in store for the next few episodes. Zoe and Ryan have remained off-screen completely, and that's about to change soon enough because the duo have a lot to fight it out against Homelander and his new regime. This will bring about an emotional showdown, and we've already seen that Homelander's not going to shy away from beating his own son to a pulp. I'm convinced that Ryan and Zoe have a role in the endgame, and I'm curious to find out how it all plays out. Is O-Father casting his influence over Homelander? Now, ever since this guy was introduced as this fake religious suit, I found O-Father to be a sketchy individual who has zero morals and ethics. He is, however, a smart cookie, and he knows when to say what, which is so important to stay alive in the unpredictable world of Homelander. I love how he knows how to keep the leader of the Seven in check by providing him with his favorite beverage, breast milk. He has enough milk for the suit to ignore any shortcomings that he might have. And I wonder if he's actually the one casting an influence over Homelander. I mean, consider it. We don't know about the superpowers of O-Father yet. What if he's the one who's putting these thoughts inside Homelander's head that he needs to be the supreme being, the Lord who replaces all old forms and emerges as the new deity? If that's the case, the next episode will surely reveal more in this regard. And things will take an interesting turn if it's discovered that O-Father is more than just an advisor to Homelander. The Deep and Noir face-off will lead to something. These two haven't been getting along for some time now, and it's only gotten worse ever since the Deep tricked Noir and used Stan Edgar's capture to gain favors with Homelander. In this episode, we've seen a tense face-off between these two, where he speaks his heart out during a podcast with O-Father. He even comes up with an idea to establish Homelander as God among the public, where Homelander can bless him to speak on stage and even supposedly enable him to fly. While the idea catches on with O-Father, Deep is not happy with all the attention that he's getting, and he takes it out by killing his mentor, Bort. When confronted by Noir, the Deep warns him that if he ever tries to upstage him again, he'll expose the fact that Noir takes acting classes, which will not go down well with Homelander, who is against anything artistic. I have a feeling this will play out in some form in the next episode, and either Noir or the Deep will get the better of the other. They surely cannot mend their relationship from here, and Noir will have revenge on his mind for the killing of his mentor. Something tells me that both Deep and Noir will not make it to the end of the series. Is Billy Butcher softening up? I don't know about you, but I find this to be the most inaccurate portrayal of the comic book narrative, given how they're giving far too much sensitivity to Butcher in the show. We've seen him as a ruthless, goal-oriented man who takes care about nothing apart from killing all supes. In this episode, we see his soft side after Huey helps him save Terror, and he agrees to save some V1 for Kimiko and Starlight so they can survive the effects of the suit-killing virus. Now, this might play out in two ways in the next episode. Firstly, the boys might not find V1 in time before they develop the soup-killing virus. This would mean that Butcher would be keen on eliminating all soups regardless, and this would put him at odds with the other members of the team. The team-up doesn't end well in the comics, where Butcher slaughters everyone except for Huey and Starlight before he's killed, and I wonder if they'll pull off the same in the show. The other alternative, and I definitely don't want a Disney ending here, but it might be that Butcher just goes out himself while taking out Homelander and ensures that everyone else is safe. It wouldn't be an ideal end because while I believe in creative freedoms, I don't think that completely changing the course of the source material is the right way. Bombsite will be found. There's only so long you can be on the run if Homelander and Soulja Boy are both in pursuit along with a horde of soups. Bombsite reportedly has the V1 with him, and he'll be smart enough to stay away, but I'm guessing they're going to find him sooner or later. This will come with consequences, ranging from killing Bombsite immediately or torturing him for information, which might endanger Sage if she's actually working with him. Nevertheless, the next episode should show both the elusive V1 and the soup-killing virus almost ready, because things are about to get really messy from now on. The crack widens among the boys. The team might still be working together, but they're on the edge and this close to falling apart like a house of cards. Kimiko has had differences with Frenchie, MM doesn't agree with Butcher's vision, and Huey only genuinely cares about Starlight at this point. If things go south, the team wouldn't be working together for much longer. And like I've said earlier in this video, they're not supposed to be working together in the first place if we're nearing the end of the story. The comic book narrative is pretty specific about how Butcher goes rogue and turns into a maniacal killer determined to kill anyone with Compound V in their system. I would even go so far ahead as to tell you that the happy times are over, and we are in for a nasty turn of events that would end up in a nightmarish bloodbath. I would love to hear your take on the stalling episode of The Boys, and please tell me in the comments how you think the show is going to end. Personally, I'm enjoying the narrative, the comical bits, the sarcasm, and Terror's perspective of things, but I'm also beginning to get restless about how the story's going nowhere. Maybe things will change from the next episode with only 2 to go after that.